Hi, I'm Peter from Coffee Pass, and today we're looking at the Breville Bambino Plus and the Solis Perfetta Plus. Now, tongue twisters to say, but easy to use. So what do these machines come with? On paper, very similar list of products. In reality, slight differences. The biggest difference is a tamper. On the Solis, you're getting like a real tamper, something you'd be able to use day in, day out for quite a long time. While on the Breville, you got a plastic tamper that will get you going, something you probably will upgrade out of in the near future. Moving on from that, the milk jugs, much of a muchness. Very similar, you'll be happy with both. The handles, slightly different, but once again very similar. On the Solis, it's a removable spout and a slightly larger handle, a bit more ergonomic, but it's not going to make a difference in the espresso side of things. Both come with a set of pressurized and non-pressurized single and double baskets and a cleaning basket, and both come with a little tool to clean the steam tip. On the case of the Breville, the tool sits under the water tank, comes out, you can take the steam tip and you can clean the steam tip with it. In the case of the Solis, it's just a separate tool that you can clean the steam tip holes on the bottom of the tip. When it comes to the water tank, the Solis does come with an inbuilt Brita water filter that's replaceable and a nice little feature. The portafilters. Both machines have very similar portafilters, but in the case of the Solis, it has a removable spout and slightly longer handle, which makes it a little bit more ergonomic. The baskets for the portafilters both come with two sets of baskets. A pressurized basket for, say, pre-ground coffee, or if you don't have a coffee grinder, and a regular basket, both in a single and a double. And from a cleaning perspective, they come with a cleaning basket or rubber blind to be able to backflush the machines. The Solis comes with a grinder brush just to be able to clean around the machine and the grinder. And it actually comes with a coffee scoop, not for cleaning, but to be able to scoop in pre-ground coffee into the portafilter. Not something we would normally recommend. The coffee. Now, I am going to sound a little bit biased because I like things in the manual approach, and the Solis does go a little bit more manual when it comes to coffee and further down when it comes to milk. But basically the coffee was similar on both machines. The main difference was on the Solis, you can adjust the temperature of the extraction from low, mid to high. You can't actually adjust it in a temperature perspective, but in those ranges. And different roast profiles will work better with different temperatures, or sometimes just personal preference. In the case of the Breville, you can't adjust your temperature, which is fine, but it does have a PID to keep the temperature stable. One other thing, on the Solis, if you've just say done steam first before coffee, which is a reverse order, but because these machines are a bit smaller, sometimes you do that because it takes a little longer to do steam. Generally your coffee water is quite hot, it's called temperature surfing. The machine will automatically drop a little bit of water through, so it just brings that group head temperature back down a bit to the correct espresso temperature. And that's kind of a convenient little feature if you're going to do it in reverse order, basically milk first, coffee later. Commercially in the cafe, it tends to be coffee then milk, but because you don't want your coffee sitting around for too long and the milk takes a bit longer, sometimes you can reverse the order. The milk. At this price point, I do feel the automated milk of the Breville might be a more popular feature than the manual approach of the Solis. Personally, I like manual, so I'm going to be a little bit biased. But when it comes to the Breville, you've got three settings for both temperature of milk and texture of milk, being low, medium and high, both in temperature and texture. And the frother is an auto frother. So once you put the jug inside and bring it in, the temperature setting underneath it will pick up and it will automatically do the milk for you to your setting. If you wanted to do it manually, you could hold down the steam button and then do it manually out here. In saying that, the arm only goes forward and back. The Solis runs it a bit more like a bigger or more commercial machine, where it's got a full articulating arm and you are completely up to yourself to do the steam. So depending on where you position the steam tip in the milk, you can bring in as much oxygen as you want. And then when you lift up the jug, you can start bringing it together and heating up the milk. From a texture perspective, the Solis does do better, where you're looking at about 10 grams of water into the milk, compared to about 20 to 23 in the Breville, meaning that you're going to get microfoam or more silky texture from the Solis. But it is a manual approach. So for me personally, I prefer the Solis, but I can see a lot of people, even friends of mine, will definitely prefer the Breville. So what are these machines like to live with? They are perfect little apartment machines, especially these days with more and more people working from home and wanting to go make a quick coffee during the day. You just walk up to them, they're just ready so quick, they take up such little amount of space on your bench, so not really affecting your kitchen bench space, and they're just so simple to use. With the Breville, it really doesn't take much training to get it right. I mean, you've got automatic milk. All you really have to do is basically dial in your grinder. With the Solis, a little bit more control, a little bit bigger. I personally enjoy playing around, and it almost means you get to stop the day, relax, make your coffee and have your coffee. So kind of two different approaches. I think both machines have their place and both machines work well, especially for the price. I can't believe what you can get these days at this price point. A few years ago, you'd have to spend 4, 5, 6 times the amount of money to get these results. What else will you need? Both machines come out of the box pretty much ready to go. But the one thing I'll definitely get and recommend to everyone is a grinder. To get the best out of these machines, you really need to be grinding fresh coffee freshly. So getting pre-ground coffee just doesn't do justice of these machines, even when using the pressurized baskets. So that's my number one thing, get a grinder. For convenience, get a little knocking tube. And then if you just want to make them look good and pop, yeah, they're a little bit more convenient, but just make them look good and pop. Basically, something like a Passato portafilter and a tamper, it's just going to make these things look next level. Thank you for watching our look into the Breville and Solis coffee machines. One thing from me, if you can hit that subscribe button and help us grow, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you.